Hello, World Tank Blitzers. It's Littlefinger. How long has it been since I've last done a full tank review? Quite honestly, this is the first tank that has made me want to do a review in quite a while. This is the AMX CDA 105. This is a French Tier 8 tank destroyer. Yes, it is relatively new. We've seen it in crates, but right now it's in stores for 12,500 gold, which is a lot for a Tier 8 tank. Yes, so early investor prices will come down if you want to wait, but I'm here just to say this has quickly become one of my top 3 favorite tank destroyers. If you want to know the other ones, the RHM, I love the RHM. It's just so much fun. The Canon is good, but not in my top 3. The WZ 121 GFT is also in the top 3. But we're here today to talk about the CDA. Great mobility, super accurate gun, 105 millimeters, and 8 degrees of gun depression, putting this thing together as a really fun tank to play. Just run through the setup, repair kit, multi-purpose adrenaline, running coffee and croissant, and improved fuel and canned pate. Ammo 24, 8, and 8. Really don't need too much heat in this tank. It has good pen values. Equipment, I am running gun rammer. As I said, pen values are also already very good, so we're going to get that damage per minute number up. We're going to run defense system, camouflage net, supercharger. You already have some great speed on the shell velocity of 1500, so I can see an argument here for potentially running enhanced gun lane drive, but the reason I'm using a supercharger is because of this penetration decrease with distance. I like to start the game in this tank kind of sniping, as you would with a typical tank destroyer, and then using the mobility towards the middle of the game to relocate, increase those damage numbers, and then save those hit points for the end of the battle and just brawl. So improved assembly, engine accelerator, refined guns, getting this dispersion down below 0.3, toolbox, and consumable delivery system. Alright, so we're using blitzstars.com, and we're going to compare these tanks to the AMX, the WZ 121 GFT, and the Canon 105, both as premium tanks, and then 2 tech tree tanks, the Jagdpanther 2 and the SU 101. And you'll see here our damage per minute number is a little bit lacking, but because we have that higher pen, we can run the gun rammer and get that number more in line with these other tanks. 350 average damage per shot, 8.6 seconds on a reload, 1525 on your shell velocity, making this a very nice sniping tank from the back of maps and hitting moving targets. Weapon handling, you'll see some great numbers here. A lot of red over here, 1.54 aim time, 0.308 dispersion, which we saw you can get below 0.3 with the equipment, 8 degrees of gun depression. And where this tank really excels, in my opinion, and you can really feel the difference here, between the speed between the AMX and the WZ. Yes, top speed is the same, but look at this effective horsepower per ton, 27 versus 17.9, 35% difference. And this is how fast you accelerate, how quickly you get up to that top speed. Means you've left that WZ behind if you are starting in the same spot. The traverse speed is okay. You can see some of the other tanks are a little bit, but 3 degrees per second, I don't think you're going to notice that whatsoever. And then the other small minor downside to this tank in comparison to the WZ, which makes it one of my favorite tanks, Tier 8 tank destroyers, is you see this 120 millifrontal armor, whereas we only have 90 on the AMX. And let me just pull in Armor Inspector here so we can take a look at what that looks like, because as you saw, the tank has some really nice sloped armor. So I've got this right now lined up with a T-29 shooting at you. So you're going to see some red across around to the side of the tank. But when you get this thing into a nice little hold down position, angled backwards, look at how much red that is for that poor T-29. So let's go ahead and change that up to a tier 8. How about yo? Doesn't look a whole lot better. So you've got some green spots here around the side of the gun. So if you're in a nice position where you're angled backwards, you can wiggle this a little bit, make it a little bit difficult to shoot at. But this is why the high ground is so important with this tank and trying to angle it backwards. Otherwise, most tanks will be able to pen the front, which is not always the same with the WZ, which does have that better armor profile. Alright, Molendyke as our first map, and we are top tier. They've got 2 tank destroyers, light, medium, and 3 heavies. So, you know, as we start this game, just look how fast we accelerate. We are almost at top speed already, just 5 seconds into the battle there. And that allows us to get to our advanced positions where we want to go. And we don't have to worry about fighting position with other teammates. So I like to come to this little bush here just because it gives me some good crossfire, and not everyone shoots directly into this one straight away. As Molendyke now, you know, has this bunker on each side where TDs typically go and sit right where our challenger is. Waiting on our team to go ahead and get some spots. And like I had mentioned before, what I like to do with this tank is hold in the back as you would in a typical TD, and then kind of use your ability to relocate later in the map. But I've noticed the T95 has pushed all the way into the corner. This tells me that other team has gone into town, and I was hoping that I could get some shots into town. So I really wasn't expecting, although not really that much of a surprise, to have these 2 TDs over here. But they have no support. So we've got to find out where their support is coming from. And there you go, the quick aim time, the snapshot, and we are angled backwards. So we've got that effective armor on our side. Watching this IS-2 come up, and he gets deleted. Alright, so my decision making here is let's just push on the WZ. Let's get him out of the game if we can. I should be safe here from any crossfire in town. This is a pretty heavily armored tank there, and you can see we pen it without problem. So now it's time to get into line of sight for downtown area, and this is what I love. This tank, look at this, its mobility, how fast it gets into another position. My LTG that I was looking at has pushed onto the closer to their spawn, and now look at this. We found a nice little spot. We're hiding our lower plate here. We're actually sitting in cap. Not that we need to at this point in time. All 4 of their remaining tanks are here together. We've dropped adrenaline, and yeah, we're just farming that damage. Now we've got to make a decision here. How do we get some additional shots in? Tiger's gonna cross. Will we have time to reload here? No, we're not going to. And so this is where I'm thinking, you know, if I can get myself up on this bridge here, I can use that kind of hold down, angled backwards, enhancing my armor here after we get rid of this Tiger. And we're getting close to the end of the battle here, and it's gotten a lot closer than I thought. But again, we can now spare some hit points. accuracy is what makes this tank so nice. The mobility. Come in here, take this kill, and we finish this game with 3 kills and 3,600 damage. And so, yeah, that's 3,900 damage. We must have hit a blind shot in there somewhere. It just goes to show you how strong that this tank is. We took 15 shots, you know, 3 of those there, the early were just into that bush. 1231 XP was only a level 1. Alright guys, so here we are. Normandy. Supremacy game here. And yeah, let's see. Let's get this thing loaded up. Come on. Let's jump into battle. 3 heavies, 3 TDs, and a light tank. Very interesting on the matchmaking there. And because of my speed on this tank here, I'm going to go ahead and push into C and start this cap, and then back away from cap. Again, you don't want to be frontlining on this tank because the armor just is not good enough when you've got several tanks you could be potentially worried about. So, as you can see here, I'm going to back up and get myself into a more defensive position. Something a lot of Blitz players don't know anything about. But somehow we got spotted. Not sure if it was that AT-15 got me there, or the T-49. So I decide I'm going to go ahead and look on the other way around here. And we just missed that shot. Now they're pushing on the other corner here. And we've got a tier 9. Orta's headed towards us. Lucky just to get under that first shot there. Again, we're angled backwards nicely. And not able to pen the damn tortoise. Emil, however, will get the track and some damage numbers in here. We've got a lot of hit points headed at us. And we're just backing up to safety as we reload. 50 TP here. He's taking the brunt of everything. We didn't even scratch them. And it's disappointing here when you don't pen the tortoise's hatch every time. But they are all headed this way. Take a couple big shots there. And we finally get the tortoise out. So, fairly straightforward battle here. Unfortunate ricochet there. We bounce one in return. Emil's gonna try to push on across. That's not gonna work out. And I'm gonna go and try to take out the Emil, use my speed here, but he is already killed. AT-15 has all the hit points left, so let's see if we gonna just turn and take all these hit points here from the AT-15, not worrying about the last guy there. So get yourself into a situation like this where you can farm at the end of the game and you get some big numbers racking up. You can see we're already up over 3,000 damage. And this may be my highest averaging tank for damage per game right now. It just, everything seems to work really well on this tank if you play it in the right way. So there we are, 3,400 damage. Level 1 again. Gotta find that ace yet. Putting us at the top on this bottom tier. So what was that as far as 1263? So we're getting close. Alright guys, Dynasty Pearl here, and this is, I'll tell you what, this is my least favorite map. It's so small, so one-dimensional. You're either all in town there, or you're all in the hills, and if you've got a tank that just doesn't play well in the hills, this is not a good map for a tank destroyer. There's not a lot of lines of sight that you're not just sitting on top of hills. So we'll see what is the team gonna do. We've got 3 heavies, they've got 3 heavies. We've got 3 TDs, they've got 3 TDs. So we'll stick with the TDs here and see what happens. This is a map I always find myself getting out of position, being a little too aggressive. As it looks like our heavies have spotted their team. Not going to have any shots in just yet. Tank number 2 shows up. Leads me to believe that they are all on the other side. So let's get our gun in the game and start being useful. We've already lost a tank, and this is not looking good. Got 2 Tigers up here against the rest of their team. CDA's some interesting driving here. We're just pulling back and using the pillar in front of us for cover. Yeah, that was a pretty low roll, 287. 350 is your average. So he gets taken out. We're catching back up. We're still down a tank, 3-2. Don't want to pull forward just yet. I don't want to just totally lose all my hit points there to that smash or something. We get a max roll, 438. And, you know, looks like these guys are going to push, so let's try to get a shot in going the other way. Nice quick aim time here. Got a Predator coming at us. So I'm going to relocate. I don't want to get caught in crossfire. I want to be able to support my team. And if we can get multiple guns on their targets who may be pushing a little bit too fast, hopefully we can get them taken care of. Cheeto get in the game here. And there we go. As we had hoped. Got 4 guns all pointing in the same direction. T69. Oh, unfortunate little ricochet, but we get out of the way of his shot. We know he's taking 1 shot. He bounces the 2nd shot. Is he reloading, or does he have 1 more to go? Oh, he bounces that one too. So he's on a reload, and we should be able to pick him off here. Make sure that that pens. And as you can see, I didn't switch over to heat a single time in any of these battles. Pen on this is wonderful. We get our 3rd kill there. SU 122, 44. Are you still with us here? We're going to be able to get some more damage on this guy. He's still with it. And we bounce another one. So like I'm saying, the armor is pretty good, not great. If you can get that tank angled backwards using that 8 degrees of gun depression, the armor becomes really good. Still not great. But overall, the mobility and the accuracy of this tank makes this thing super fun to play. And I've had some seriously strong games in it. I'm not sure why that's not coming up, but anyway, let's see. 24-12 is my average damage, 84% win rate. So really enjoying that tank. And the games where I have been bad at it is because I've been overly aggressive and got taken out just a little bit too early. So keep that in mind. Yeah, the price is still a little bit expensive, but it is a fun tank and you will enjoy it. So with that, guys, have fun out there. Stay safe. Get educated, not fingered. Littlefinger out.